Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Blue Podcast, and this is our third episode of the Interlegends FC series that we've been doing with Jack. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. All good. Yeah, come back off a loss last week. So
First loss.
Yeah.
We have to start on that. Talk us through the day, and then obviously we'll talk about the result.
I think, to be honest, we were talking about this quite a lot on after the match on Saturday, and with the lads and everything. And we feel like we probably lost the match before we even got there. You know, like, even when we was putting the team sheet down and stuff, we couldn't find players in certain positions. So trying to dig around, trying to find players, it felt like we'd already lost the game before we got there. And then when we turned up, I mean, to be fair to them, like, take nothing away from this team we played. They were unbelievable. They were a step.
Was it?
They were called Amesbury Town.
Okay.
They were step 4, I think they were. So semi-professional, get paid and everything.
Yeah.
And they had 2 teams, like first 11 and then the second 11 was like under 21s, I think it was. And obviously all of us are like 30, 40 in that. So it was a difficult game.
You see a whole new 11 come onto the pitch and just like...
They had a whole new kit and everything. I was like,
oh really?
It's a different team. And they were like, yeah, it's the under 21. So it was difficult, but... We, like, the lads out there, I think they won't mind me saying, like, we didn't have enough heart on the sleeve or anything. You know, it's just a bit, yeah, it weren't a great performance from us at all. So
that's football. That's sometimes you just have one of those days where it doesn't quite click.
Yeah, and you know, like we've battered teams before, and to be fair, we've come away just thinking, you know, it's always just going to be like that. And I said to the guys afterwards, it'd probably be nice now that we've lost that, because you always get that thing, like, you know, I don't know if you guys watch wrestling, but you know, when I was growing up, I used to watch, I used to watch The Undertaker, and his streak was always like, who's going to beat the streak? And then after the streak was beat, like, it didn't really have too much like stuff behind it to make it that the person that wanted to beat the Undertaker and beat the streak. And the same with us. Everyone was like, we want to be the first team to be able to beat you guys. And now it's happened. It's kind of quite nice that it's happened, because now we can say, well, it's done now. Like, you know, we've got to go on a new run. So now we're going to be more up for it to try and put right our wrongs, as it were.
Okay. What was the final score?
I don't know if I want to say this. It was 13-1.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got absolutely battered. Yeah, it was just. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong in that game of football went wrong. Like, you know, like we turned up with 13 players in the first 20 minutes. 2 lads got injured, so we had 11. The guy that went left back is our commercial director, and you know, we had Chris, our social media guy, in goal, and it was just, things just didn't feel right. And then even the pitch itself was. Like, it was probably the most bobbly pitch. Like, in terms of like the stadium stuff, it was a really, really nice little ground.
Yeah.
But the pitch, like, even I played up front on Saturday, and the centre back said to me, he goes, we haven't lost that many home games because teams don't know how to play it because it's so bobbly and they all try and do that. Whereas that's our game, because of the players we've got. They all want to keep it on the deck. They want to play out from the back and stuff. And we just had to start going route one, and it was just like, they had this big lad at the back who just kept heading it back, and it was like, we couldn't even get the ball. It was just really weird. Like, it was crazy. So...
Like typical, was it like Burnley would grow the grass like an extra few centimetres and stuff like that, the Premier League, things like that, just to have a home advantage.
Well, it just felt like concrete. It felt like playing in a car park.
Really?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was that bad. Like, it hadn't been watered for ages and stuff. And
they just summer pitch,
it was like that. But it was like, we usually get them at this time of year, right? And most teams would go, we don't really water it and stuff and things like that. And we've played in some bad pitches, but this one was probably the worst we've played on. And,
right.
You know, there was like, you could see my feet afterwards when I took my boots off. I got 2 like little toe blisters underneath. The feet are so sore and stuff. I think everyone was in the same boat, but take nothing away from the lads that played us, because they were unbelievable. And we're going to turn up against teams like that want to, you know, raise money for something, and they're going to be a good team, and they're going to be younger and fitter than us. And we just didn't turn up today.
Yeah. Did your studs like actually end up going into the ground?
No.
I've played on some football pitches in the summer, and it's just so dry.
Well,
it's awful.
Funny enough, at half time, I felt like I took these shoes up with me. I drove up in these, and I felt like changing them to put these on rather than my boots, because they were just hurting so much. Honestly, it was mad. It was crazy.
It's a bit like when we were training on Clapham Common, and it was each time you like went to control the ball, you either put your foot too high, put your foot too low and hit your knee, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the same with like when they were shooting as well. They knew like you didn't have to shoot in the air; you had to basically shoot across the ground, because
then
it'd go anywhere. Just sort of
like those drills where they put cones on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, and the keeper throws it.
That's what it's like.
Just thinking that as well.
That's the equivalent of what it's like, and it took us about 60 minutes to sort of realise. But by that time, we were all knackered. You know, it was hot again. But like, they were a great team, and they play in the FA Cup and stuff and things like that. So
you played a tough side.
A tough team. Like, they're probably going to be one of the toughest teams we got to play. Like, like we got a game on Sunday, and there's two different sides to it with what we do. There's either the charity teams that play us, and they're just here, there, and everywhere. People that come and just get involved, and they're the sort of games that, not saying that we win before we turn up, but we don't get out of second gear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it's quite easy. Like no one really like breaks a sweat or anything. Whereas these games, we played a couple of them. Played 3, step 6, step 7, and now step 4, and they have all been like different gravy. Like just you can just see the difference in, where you think, oh, I can get there, and your body can't get you there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them moments as well. I especially do, where I think, oh, I've got that, and I think, well, hang on a second, that's like that far in front of me. So it's hard. Like sometimes you're going to get that, but you can't win every game of football. You know, you're not going to win every single time you turn up. But hopefully we can start a new run starting Sunday, and yeah, we can keep it going.
Tell us about Sunday then. What's happening then?
So we're playing in Mansfield. So it's our first game up north. We're playing a team called Friendbot. They're a charity, and they raise for 4 different local charities in that community there. They've done it for like 10 years, and apparently they get quite a decent number. They probably get, like, they said, I spoke to them on the phone on the way down there, and they said, probably expecting between 1,000 and 2,000 people turn up, which is a decent crowd.
Yeah.
So the lads have all come back. Like, we get a proper decent team out for it on Sunday, and we're going to give it a good go and try and get that run going again.
Was the issue with the obviously you only had 13 players anyway? Did you have too many attackers by any chance?
Yeah, we always do. Like literally, we've got a team of just like people that come in and go, "I'm a striker," and you go, "No, you're not a striker. You're a right back today because we ain't got a right back." But it just seems to be that way. Like, but the good thing about, I mean, we only had like 2 ex-pros in our team on Saturday, so that also made it more difficult.
Yeah.
But the good thing about when we have a full squad is you can have like 4 wingers, you can have like 4 strikers, and you can have 4 centre midfielders, and they'll fit into every single position, probably apart from goalkeeper as well.
Yeah.
So that does make a difference. Not only that, but when you have someone like, we have Mac Chisholm normally in goal for us from Baller League, and he played like under 21s West Brom.
He's pretty good.
He plays decent level, and even if a team does get through, because teams do get through and they do score. We've never won it. Well, I think we won one game 10-0, but teams do score against us. It's usually because we've got like an amateur goalkeeper in there, and they'll shoot and it will just go through their hands, like the old comedy sort of sketches. But when you've got someone like Mac there, you can see the defenders get a little bit of extra confidence where they go, if they get through, we've got another line of defence here. Whereas, no disrespect to any other goalkeepers play for us, because they've done a great job standing, because I don't want to do it. But they've come in and they've done all right. But, there's still all them little things where you think, oh, you should be rushing out, and they don't rush out. Or you think, you got to stay in your line, and you don't, they get chipped sometimes.
Proper Sunday league.
Proper Sunday league stuff. So there's always, things like that is always difficult. But when Mac's there, he does add a difference. But also as well, when we've got them ex-pros in there, you can say to him, where do you normally play? And they go, I'm a striker. And you go, can you do a shift at left back for me? And they go, yeah, well, I'll do it. And it makes a difference.
No, 100%.
Is there a James Milner of the squad? Versatility, just plays anywhere?
Yeah, Craig McHale-Smith, he's a joke, honestly. Like, this bloke is the fittest bloke I've ever seen. I think he's got to be 40 odd years of age.
Yeah.
But he is like, we went to Cornwall with him, and we brought his family down and everything. We was on the beach like a couple of days earlier, took his top off, and I thought, oh, bloody, I ain't standing next to you, mate. Absolutely no way I'm standing next to you. But he's like fit as a fiddle, keeps himself in like proper nick and everything, and he's really into like the spiritual world. Him and his family are all quite like that, and they talk about like mindset and stuff, and even not even just his body, but his mindset and stuff is like, it's perfect for what he needs to be. But this bloke don't stop running at all. Like literally, he just like will start from minute 1, and like minute 91, he's still sprinting around the pitch, and everybody else is sort of like passing it around a little bit. He'll be chasing everyone down. He's like a dog with a bone. He's unbelievable. So he's a striker by trade. He scored like over 100 goals for Peterborough and scored for Brighton and many other clubs he played for. But he's never played up front for us. And so I've always got this thing where I think, I want to play him up front because I want to see what he's like in his natural position.
Yeah.
Whereas when he comes to us, we use him centre midfield because he does all that running from like box to box, side to side. If you ever pick up the ball, no matter what position you're in, he'll be available for you. And you say, just pass it to me. And he's that good that we have to have him there because we don't have anyone like that. But at one point, I want to put him up front and see how good he is up front as well.
Fair enough. Well, we're talking about Inter-Legends a lot. Let's talk about football in terms of Premier League football. Obviously, you're a Spurs fan.
Yep.
We were speaking just before the podcast about the Gibbs White not happening. What's your view on? And have you seen the video of Gibbs White announcing that he's staying?
Yeah, I think
it's an interest. It's a very funny looking video, isn't it?
It's like a hostage situation with a gun to your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it should be described as. But when I look at it as a whole, and over my years, I've seen us being linked with like Dybala. We've been linked with Bruno Fernandes before he went to United and stuff. And it's just the same carbon copy of what happens with Spurs. Like, you know, when you read into the story, I was watching Sky Sports News the other day, and I pretty much listen to either TalkSport or Sky Sports News every day, just listen to what's going on and stuff and things like that. And they were talking, actually, I think it was on TalkSport, they were talking about the situation that was in. And you see it as black and white. We've paid the release clause. He's got to go now because if he wants to go, we've paid the release clause and he goes. And then when you dig a little bit deeper, some people say, well, the way Spurs, when it's paid a release clause, wasn't the way that the release clause was set. It has to be paid as a whole 60 mil. And we want to do it with instalments if we won this, if we did this and that. And they were like, well, we don't have to accept it. But I think why they've done what they've done is because Gibbs White's obviously turned around to him and said, I want to go and play for them.
Yeah.
And he's gone, well, I'll make you the biggest player. And, you know, with owners, they do try and drive a hard bargain. So Gibbs White's probably one of the mediocre paid players when he first joined Forest because he's made his career to that next level where he is. And he's probably sat there and gone, right, I want 200 grand a week. And the chairman's gone, no, because we've got a wage structure. We can't break that. And he goes, well, I'm leaving then. And Spurs went, we'll give you 200 grand a week. And he goes, well, I'm going to Spurs. And then he goes, well, actually, I want to keep you. Here's 200 grand a week.
Yeah.
And he signed it. So I don't think he'll be there for very long.
It also secures big payday for Forest if they then do sell him next season or the season after.
That's it.
Because his contract's quite long, isn't it? It's about 8 years?
Yeah,
Like
2028, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, 28?
Yeah, 28. It's only extension.
Say
I
8
think.
years. I was thinking, oh my gosh, 2020.
I saw somewhere it's quite long.
No, I think it's 2028. But I think what it does is it gets rid of that release clause as well.
Yeah.
So like you say, now he's got years ahead of him where his contract's not coming out to an end. Someone's going to have to pay a premium. They're going to have to pay 150 million for him to be able to get his services rather than 60 million, which would have been a steal.
Exactly.
And everyone was like, oh, it's only 60 million. The thing that surprised me was that no other clubs went in for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That isn't.
You know,
I think
City were
it's-
linked, weren't they, at one point? But then
City
they went
were
for
linked, but I
Cherky.
think it's because a lot of these teams ended up getting Cherky. I mean, who just went recently? Mbeumo and
Cunha.
and Kudus have all moved on, and they're in a very similar position to him.
Yeah, the thing that always strikes me in football is we buy all these players right from abroad, and they come over and they go, he's brilliant in the Dutch league, he's got to be amazing over here, and they're not, they're crap.
Yeah.
Right? And they come over and they can't do it because of physicality, the speed of the Premier League, and whatever else. Whereas you see players that are proven in the Premier League, and people aren't buying them.
Yeah.
And I think, why not? That's such less of a gamble.
Seems
Isn't
very
it?
strange.
You know, like when Spurs bought Janssen, do you remember him? He was like top Dutch goal scorer and everything. Everyone, he's going to be absolutely bloody brilliant. And he scored, 4 goals for us? And to me, I just think, if that was me, just go and buy someone who can score, like Danny Ings or someone at the time was firing. I was thinking, just go and buy him. It probably cost you an extra 5 million, but he can do it.
Yeah.
He can fit into a team. Whereas, you know, you see it with a lot of clubs like Arsenal have just signed their striker.
Victor Gyökeres,
Yeah, and I just think, is he going to do it? Like, he didn't do it for Brighton in the Prem. You know, he went down to Coventry, did all right there, and then he moved abroad and he's done all right there. But going back to the Prem, like, he didn't do it there.
different.
It's not proven. Do you
No,
know what I mean?
100%.
There's rumours that he's been brought in as a second-tier striker. He's not seen as, he's coming straight in to start.
Yeah.
He's seen as to challenge Havertz for the spot.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting considering he scored over 50 goals last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not in the Prem, so it's
Yeah.
very, very different.
Yeah, it's strange. I think a lot of clubs have done a lot of good business. I think there's 2 that will probably struggle next year, which is, I think, Newcastle are going to struggle quite a bit, and I also think Forest might struggle a little bit as well.
They're bound to, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not going to do as well the first time in Europe as well. And
No.
And especially Europa League,
Yeah.
it's a big gap between Europa League and Europa Conference League, which is what they
It
would have
is,
got.
yeah.
But now they're in the Europa League. You look at their squad. Is it
such a big squad as well?
Yes,
You know,
you've got to have a huge
you
team.
see it with Spurs last year, right? I feel a bit sorry for Ange Postecoglou because he obviously did this amazing thing where he went and won a trophy. And, you know, I was listening to TalkSport again and they were saying, as a Spurs fan, would you sacrifice 17th in the league to win a trophy?
Yes.
And I was thinking, yes, I would. Like, I would have done that. If I got relegated, I'd say, no, that's a different story. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather stay in the Premier League. But we were very lucky that there were 3 teams that were really bad last year.
Yeah.
They never drew us into that relegation battle. We were there or thereabouts, but I think from January we were safe. So we had all that time to play with, and just gone, well, we ain't going to get top 10.
Yeah.
There's no difference between finishing 17th and finishing 11th.
Yeah.
You might
That's
as
what I
well
was about to say, yeah.
You might as well finish 17th and go and try and win something. And he'd done that.
Yeah.
And now they're going, well, we got rid of him. You know, if it was in my full-time job, right, what I do, and I get KPIs set out and they say, you've got these 7 KPIs to hit, and I hit 6 KPIs and 1 I don't lose my job.
No.
They'll go, you've done all right because
Yeah.
you've pretty much hit everything. And
Yeah.
there's other factors that go into that one KPI you've missed. Same with him. We had injuries. If we had a full squad, like strength and depth with all of our team, probably could have finished 8th or
Yeah.
7th or 5th or whatever, and gone on to win the Europa League or the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup as well. But he had to make sacrifices to make sure he did his other part of his job.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Do you not also think that potentially Ange moving on was more of, you've got us to this point, let's bring in someone else who can then take us that extra step?
I always felt like when he came on board, it was too far for him to stretch to go to Spurs, because if you look at his career progression, where he's gone from like Japan and he did Australia and then obviously like Celtic and then went to Spurs, he felt like he skipped a step. He should have gone to someone like a Sunderland or someone like that to go in there and make his trade there. And then if he'd done it there, then yeah, fair enough, go up there. Or someone like, I don't know, like maybe not Brighton, but if someone like when Luton were in the Prem, he could have gone there and done a job there. And if he did amazing things, and when I say amazing things, I don't mean win anything. I mean taken from being relegated to being like 12th. Like that is a good progression for him. And then to take that stepping stone, I feel like he missed a job and went up, and he was just out of his depth a little bit because, you know, the Scottish League is so different. And it, you know, whoever tells you in football that Celtic can come and be in the top 4, they can never be in the top 4. I'm telling you now. Like, you can see the standard when you go and watch these games. Like, if they're playing each other, it looks like a good game.
Yeah.
But the same with League One. If you watch 2 good League One teams, you think, God, this is amazing, this is brilliant. Whereas if you watch a League One team, top of the table, versus someone who's 12th in the Premier League, the class shows. And the same with the Scottish Premier League and the English Premier League as well. So, I don't know. I think he was hard done by, but I don't think the board have backed any sort of manager as well as they should have. Like, you see these other clubs like Liverpool now, they're having a great transfer window, right?
I can't believe it.
Because the board are just going, here you go, like, come in and do a job, to a new manager and saying, right, this manager was a legend before, you need to now take that next level, what do you need? And he's going, well, this is what I need. And they go, there you go and get it. Whereas Spurs, they get rid of a manager every couple of seasons, and they go, what do you need? And he goes, well, I probably need to have a look at what I've got here, and then I'll come and decide it. By the time it's happened, we're hanging on by our teeth anyway. We're literally like scratching the surface with what we got, and we buy 1 or 2 players, and he come in, and then he goes, well, this player's not very good, this player's not very good, I want to get rid of him, now I need to buy this player. By the time he goes through that season and does that sort of transformation season, Spurs are going, oh, maybe we should get rid of him because we're not doing well. And it's that same vicious cycle where you see play like Arteta, right? He's probably the luckiest man in English football because he's not done anything. You know, he's finished second, he's come there or thereabouts, but he's never done it. But they keep backing him, they believe in him because they keep thinking he's going to do it one day.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do want to touch on what you think about Ange's tactics, because there was a lot of conversation about him not changing the way that he played for the team that he had, and then in the final he actually did.
Yeah, and I think that just shows how stubborn he was as a person. Like,
Yeah.
the parts of Ange I didn't like was the stubbornness, and you saw it come out in like media and stuff when he was doing his post-match or his pre-match, and he's talking, and the way he's talking and stuff, it's like, right, it's my way or the highway, you know. And you know, he was gimmicky with when he's calling people mate and stuff, but he got a bit aggressive and everything. And I thought, you know, when we had that before, we never really had characters like that. It was always, right, okay, we'll go there, you know, gracious in defeat, like we are as well as into legends, but, you know, gracious in defeat, but always wanting to come back and try and reinvent it. Like, next week, we're going to play differently because it didn't work last week. If we turn up on the same pitch, we ain't going to be able to go, well, we've got to try and play our football because it didn't work then. We try and change it in 60 minutes, and you know, they came out on top. But that's how we scored our goal. We started going long, you know, went out for a corner, we scored from the corner and stuff. And Ange was never like that. You know, I went to the Spurs-Chelsea game where it was the 4-1, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking this as well.
You know,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there thinking, you got 9 men left. Put 9 men behind the ball. 1-1, do you know what I mean? Just get 1-1. Like, just, even if we'd lost 2-1 and he'd done that, I'd have gone, fair enough, they gave it everything. But he's playing the high line. Then we get players injured because we're playing the high line and because they got to sprint back, you know. Like, it's just the toll on footballers with the amount of games they play and everything is so unique now that if you carry on sprinting and you keep doing that high line, you're eventually going to get a hamstring injury or you're going to get some sort of knock or whatever it is. And he's just sitting there and going, well, do you know what, we're just going to go for it. And if we lose 6-1, 7-1, it don't really matter. But that's not the way it should be. But I've seen it the other way as well, where I say this, and I find it quite hard in that subject because when I, as a Spurs fan, I've been to quite a lot of games, seen a lot of like different managers play, and I went to the first game when Nuno was our manager, and we played City at home, and we had one shot on target, and it was Honmi and Son who scored, and it was on the counter attack, and we sat 11 men behind the ball, and they just had the ball. They had like 86% possession, and they were just passing it around, and we were just literally just like waiting for that one chance. And as a fan, it was so hard to watch. Whereas the Chelsea game, it was quite exciting to watch. But then you come away from it and you think on the Monday or Tuesday, you have that secondary opinion where in the game you think, this is brilliant, I love watching that. On the Monday or Tuesday, you go, oh, we could have drew 1-1. And then the other game, we could have won 2-0, we could have won 3-0.
Yeah.
You know, and you come away and you think that wasn't actually enjoyable to watch. And I paid like 80 quid to go and watch that. So I find it hard to compare it, but at the end of the day, football's a results business.
Yeah.
It's not about, no one wants to lose 5-4 and they go, what a brilliant manager. You know, if he goes and wins 5-4, fair enough, brilliant manager. But we lost too many games, I think 21 games or something like that it was.
Yes.
It was, you know, that's a ridiculous number for any
Big Six side.
for a Big Six side. And the way he was doing it as well, where he was trying to score more goals than them, sometimes it don't work like that. He scored one, he parked the bus, and that's what he did in the final, and that's what won us the final, was because he changed his tactics and he went, get the first goal, sit back, and because he knew that they didn't have any firepower up top, he knew they weren't likely going to score. He trusted in our defence. We had our strongest defence there as well.
Also, some unbelievable defending.
That Mickey van der Ven.
Yeah, Mickey van der Ven, yeah.
That clearance on the line was incredible.
You know, there's a stat out there before that game, which was the games that Mickey van der Ven and Romero started together, they've got like an 86% win percentage when they've started a Tottenham game.
But they start so few together.
But they started so few together, right? Same when we had like Ledley King and Michael Dawson as well. They used to win games when they started together because they were mates, they knew each other, they knew how they played. There was a bit more confidence from midfielders. If they lost the ball, they knew that they were going to be there. Plus, any balls over the top, Mickey van der Ven's going to run in and stop them. It just didn't happen enough.
And I'm interested to see how this... You clearly got a very good football brain. How does that translate into legends, do you think?
Well, funnily enough, it doesn't really translate to what I do now because, and the reason why is because the lads are more experienced than me. Like I'm no.
So you're learning.
I'm learning from them effectively. So there's no. I'm under no illusion that I'm there telling them what to do. I feel like if I gave a team talk or anything, or said to them, "You need to do this, you need to do that," they wouldn't sit up and go, who are you? Like, they wouldn't, but they would just be like, okay, fine. But they know themselves what's best. Sometimes if I put a starting 11 out, after about 30 minutes, they've already worked out it's not working and they've already moved people around and they'll say, right, okay, you come here, you go there, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do this. And they'll change it themselves. So after 30 minutes, our starting 11 is completely different. You know, same with like reading the other team as well. If there's like a strong right back and our left winger's not as strong, they'll change themselves and they'll put like our strong right winger on to the left side because they're able to do it. They're able to adapt and they're able to read situations better than what I probably can. And probably quicker as well. I could probably read it, but it won't be. I'm probably a little bit more cautious and I'll say, right, wait till half time, see what happens, and then we'll do that. But they are in themselves, they're like, right, okay, we can do this if we set up like this or whatever. And most of them, you know, we have team talks. When Sean Wallace is there, he gives great team talks and it's more about, you know, he used to play for Brentford under 21s, I think it was. So his football knowledge is quite good. And he's able to come in and do like the team talks and talk about that. But it's more about, you know, finding yourself in the moment, stuff like that, the motivational stuff. Whereas the lads will talk amongst themselves and say, right, okay, let's do this. And because they're all played at such a level as well, me and my mates, when we're there, we actually listen to all of them. Whereas if you did that in a proper football match, I think you'd have the captain and the manager speak.
Yeah.
And then the players are on the same pedestal. Whereas when we go there, you've got someone who scored 100 goals for Peterborough. You've got Leroy Lita who scored X amount of goals for Reading. You've got all these players here that come in and do this thing. And when one of them tells you something, even if it's a little tweak and they say, actually what you need to do is you need to do this. And you think, okay, right, I'm going to try and do that now because it'll make my life easier.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we played in Tamworth, we played this five-a-side tournament. Our team got split into two, so there was like me and my mates, and then the ex-professionals, and there was an A, B, and a B league. So it was like basically content creators and our team in this one, and then ex-pros in this one, and they were playing in that one. And the way it came out, we had to play the other team. Yeah, so we played the other team, and Leroy's up front, and I was playing centre back. And even then, he's giving me advice. Like he's on the opposite team. He's like holding my shirt, and I'm like so tight to me. And I thought, right, get tight to him. He can't turn. And he goes, don't get so tight to me. And I said, what do you mean? As the ball's come into him, he span off and he's already knows where the ball's going. Yeah. And I'm still stood there thinking, where the bloody hell's he gone? Where's the ball gone? And he just was telling me, right, okay, now, next time, don't get so tight to me, give yourself five yards. And he did that. And I was able to then block it from him and think, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. But just like little things like that, you work out into your game. They can see 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of what's actually happening. and they'll try and teach you, because if they can make you better, then the overall
Whole
team gets better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was curious as to how much tactic goes into these games, because obviously I'm sure as well you don't know a lot of the teams that you're playing up against.
No, and that's the thing, and because it's not just the teams that we don't know we're playing against. So we turn up against teams and they might call in 5 of their mates who's played like a decent level or whatever, because for them it's their World Cup final. This is their thing of like, oh, you know, we want to play this ex-professional football team and we want to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And they will get mates in who have played a decent level. They'll say, you know, you can come in for the day or whatever. So they think they even know the teams that they're having. They just know they're going to be up for it and they'll be better than what they normally are on a Saturday or a Sunday. So it's always difficult for us to prepare for that, because if they don't know, we don't know either. I think there's certain games you get like the call from and they'll say, oh, we're just like dads or whatever and we just want to kick about and whatever, and you think, okay, that like we know what's happening there. But the tactics don't really go into it. It's only when the chips are down that someone goes, if we go like 2-0 down, we say, we've got to change this, we've got to do that. Or if, say, for example, if our star striker gets injured, then we've got to change it round to accommodate that. That's when the tactics come into it, where we say, right, we'll go 5 in. Or sometimes what we try and do is we try and actually give the ball to the other team. So then the first 5 minutes, we know what we're up against. So they can have it first, and then we can sit back and go, they got a quick winger, a quick striker, centre midfielders drop steep. We know what we've got them. And then from that, we adjust. Then we say, okay, fair enough. So like the biggest probably change we have is we always start 4 at the back, because we don't know if they're going to overload like 2 wingers plus then 2 quick strikers. Then we go, right, we can deal with this with 4 at the back. Sometimes in a game within 5 minutes, you'll see us go 3 up front, 3 at the back, because we know they're not doing that, and they're trying to pack the midfield, so we just go and pack the midfield as well. Or we know that they've got a centre back who's not that quick, so we go overload it, put 3 up front, put Dell up there, Leroy up there, and Craig up there, for example, and then we'll just go and bomb up there and just try and get as many goals as we can. So we try and let them have the ball first, soak up the pressure a little bit, see what we've got, and then make the adjustments from there.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting. I was quite curious as to how much tactically goes into it.
Yeah. I do want to say as well, how much tactical knowledge do you think goes into playing at the highest level? Because as you said, you've played with Leroy Lita, players like that. How much quicker and faster is their football brain in comparison to, you know, your average Joe playing footy?
Well, I think they suffer with what we suffer as well. Like as they're getting older, like Leroy's over 40 now, right? And I think he still thinks, oh, I can get there, I can do that, and he probably can't. So he's probably adjusted his game quite a bit to be able to accommodate what his body won't let him do, what his mind wants to do. Mm-hmm. But I think he's still head and shoulders above anyone. Like he can go up against 21-year-olds, he can go up against 18-year-olds and still hold his own and do whatever. But I think that yard of pace you suddenly do lose, and that's why a lot of players do retire. But I still think his mind, he can already read stuff. Like even when I've played up front with him, he'll say to me, I split these 2 here because the ball's going to go there, and then I'm in a better position to go and close them down. And the same with himself as well. He'll put himself in good positions, or he knows if like the right back's going to pass back to the keeper, he'll already be there and he'll be like trying to intercept it with the keeper. Whereas my mind, I'll be like, well, I don't know where it's going, so I'm going to stand here. Do you know what I mean? So he's trying to predict what's going to happen in the future, and they're quite good at it, and that's why they are like that sort of level. And because they could do that, plus the fitness they would have had when they were younger and stuff, that probably all come into it, and that's why they're professional football players. Funny enough, I was speaking to, I know I spoke about Leroy last time, but I'm going to speak about him again, because I had the pleasure of, it was a very strange situation, but it came round in full circle moment, so I'll tell you everything because you can put this one in. But we went out on Saturday night afterwards and went for a few beers and whatever, and I think we rolled in about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up, I'm like a bit hungover, had a shower and everything, and Leroy's there, he's got his bandana on, and he's like, yo, can I come back with you? And I said, what do you mean come back with me? I said, you live in the Midlands and I live like down in Surrey. I was like, it's miles away. Like, he goes, I'm just going to go see some friends today. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I was like, whatever, just come with me in the car. He goes to the shop, right, and he buys this pack of like hot dogs, heats them up in the microwave, and there's about 20 of them, and he's eating them like one, like like cartoons, where they're like eating one by one. He's got a 4 can of dark fruit Strongbow, and he drank them on the way to my house, which was about an hour and a half away. Get to my house, and he goes, is that a pub on the end of the street? And I said, yeah. He goes, come on, let's go in your local, let's go say hello to everyone. So we go in there for a pint, and then there's a shop down the road. He goes and buys 8 cans of dark fruits to them, because my brother was in the car, and he goes, I'm going to drive the car back to Essex. And he goes, that's actually where my mates are, so I'm going to go with you. So he had like 13 like beers on the way back. But the reason why I'm getting to that story is because he was brilliant. On the way back, I just thought, I'm never going to get an opportunity like this to have him like
One-on-one, basically.
one-on-one without the crowds there or anything like that. So I started asking him about like football and what it meant to him and stuff. And he was saying, I said to him, I was like, how did you become a striker? Did you always want to become a striker? And he went, I'm telling you now, in football, everyone thought they were going to be a striker. Everyone in the professional game wanted to be a striker. And he said, but I was actually a goalkeeper when I started. And he said, it was one game, end of the season. I don't know what age he was, like under 10s or something. And the manager said, right, last game season, you play where you want, sort of thing. And Leo went, I'll go up front. He said he scored 9 goals and they won 9-0. And the manager said, you're never going to goal again. He said, you're staying out on the pitch. But, hearing them sort of stories and stuff, like I was speaking to him about Sir Alex Ferguson. And he said, the reason why Sir Alex Ferguson was so good about recruitment and hiring like the right players to play for him is because he used to have a scout follow the person like for a month or 2 months before to see what their lifestyle was like. Not what like they get to up on the pitch, but can he manage that person and can he get that person in? And Leroy was saying, he's going to go into coaching in the near future. And he was saying that's the type of manager he wants to be, to understand the player. He said, there's no point. I said to him, I was like, who's the best player you ever played with? He said, Ravel Morrison. He was like, unbelievable. He said, like, amazing. And he said, but the bloke didn't turn up to training when he was on loan at Birmingham. He played with him at Birmingham. And he said, the problem the club did was they were just trying to find him and trying to give him, finding wages and trying to give him, rules and stuff to abide by. And he said he wasn't the right person to do that. He said what they should have said is, you are the best person in the team. You haven't got to come training, but we see you Thursday ready for the game on Saturday. And he said there's few managers that have that ability to be able to do that.
It's like Eden Hazard at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same with Leroy as well. Leroy's one of these players that, we call him Maverick, or, the streets don't forget, or whatever we want to call him. And Leroy was, like, some of the stories he'll tell you, he'll say, like, he's from Congo, I think it is. And he used to go to like all these bashment things and raves and stuff. All his family there, all his friends and everything. And he said he'd been doing it for like 8-9 years or whatever. He said he signed for Middlesbrough, and the manager was like, what are you doing, Leroy? You're a professional football player. You can't go to this place. And he said, what are you talking about? I goes, I've been going to this for like 10 years. I'm not suddenly going to stop now because I've signed for another team. And he said, at that point, he said, I just lost interest in it because he wasn't letting me be me. He said, but if a manager came in and went, do what you got to do, mate, make sure you're on time for training, make sure you're there for the game. Then he said, I'd have been so much more receptive of that. He said, the best managers he worked under were Gordon Stratton and Gareth Southgate. He said Gareth Southgate was amazing at Middlesbrough because he said, they went to like top of the league and everything. And he said, well, I don't want you to go home to your families or anything. I want you to all go out on me tonight as a team and go and enjoy yourselves. And he said, we all like that because that's the type of team we were. Whereas I've played in other teams where we don't really associate with each other and we don't really like bond with each other. And Leroy was just saying, like, things like that with managers go a long way, and you have to be able to read the person, you have to be able to play into their strengths, also understand their weaknesses as well.
Is there some of that with Inter-Legends? Because it does sound like it.
Yeah, there is. Like, there is a lot of like understanding what make people tick. Like, there's certain players that want to spend time with their family and they want them to come to the matches. So the ones where we've got like bouncy castles and all that kind of stuff, they're like, oh yeah, I really want to come to that one because my kids can have a fun day as well. And there's some players, like Leroy's probably one of them, that goes for the night out afterwards. And it's about playing into them sort of things to say, okay, look, you've got all this safe space around you. Whatever happens here happens with us. We're a big family unit. You haven't got to come for the night out afterwards. It's great if you do, but if you don't want to and you want to leave straight after your family, you can. The only thing that we ask is that, we lost 13-1 and everyone wanted to go home. No one wanted to stay out and do anything. But I said, no, look, we're gracious in defeat. We're going to sign stuff. We're going to have food. We're going to have a drink with all the local people. We end up going on town with a few local people, but there is that split 10 minutes afterwards where a couple lads are like, oh, I can't really be asked to go. But Leroy was like, no, we are going. And I was like, yeah, look, we are going 100%. They've paid their money to pay for a ticket. We're going to go and take photos of them, sign stuff and do whatever else. So, there always has to be that thing around making sure that people, if someone would have come up to me and gone, oh, you were crap today, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure someone would have flown off the handle and gone, oh, whatever. But everyone there was great with us and everything. And the same with like us as managers. I know I'm not the official manager, but like trying to get the people in, trying to get them in. Like we just signed MC Harvey. He's played a couple of games for us now. And when he first came, he was a bit like, I could tell when I spoke to him on the phone. I always like to give someone a phone call first to be like, if I text someone and say, do you want to play for this charity football team? You ain't getting paid for it. You don't get any benefits from it. Do you want to come and play? They'll go, no. But if I call them and say, this is what it's about. It's a family unit. You can bring your family. You can do this. You get your hotel covered. You get petrol money paid. All of this. You ain't out of pocket for it. And we have a laugh. And it's a really, really good family thing. And this makes playing. And this makes playing. They'll go, all right, yeah, I'm really up for that. I want to come and play.
Yeah.
Oh, that does sound really good.
Yeah, I always find actually phoning people and actually speaking to people is so much better than message, because if you message someone, they can interpret things differently than when you're actually talking and speaking to people. You sort of build that connection more quickly, I find.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like we just signed Cameron Jerome, the old Birmingham player.
Yeah,
he's playing for us not this weekend but the weekend after. And when I first contacted him, he was like, far too busy, mate. I'm not interested. Like, sort of like, leave me alone or whatever. So I did for a little while, and then I sort of went back to him and said, look, we've got another game coming up. It's not far from where you live. Do you want to come and get involved and everything? He was like, oh, I'm not really sure and all that. And then eventually I said to him, I was like, well, we've got this game. I said, I know you used to wear Fresh Ego, kid, the brand. We're playing against Fresh Ego. Come and play. It'll be your first game. It means something to you because you knew the lad that started it and he passed away. Come and get involved in that and see how you like it. And then from then, his whole attitude changed. He was literally like, oh yeah, all right, fair enough, I'll come to that. And I know when he comes, it'll be brilliant. The same with Dean Ashton when he came and played for us as well.
Yeah.
Trying to get him was a nightmare, not because of his attitude or anything, because of his work schedule, because of Talk Sport. And he goes and does like live broadcasting of games and everything. So trying to get him there in the season was a nightmare. And we happened to just get him on this one weekend where he was like, oh, do you know what, I'll come and have a look. Afterwards, he loved it. Like I messaged him all the time and I'd say, oh, do you want to come play? Yeah, oh, I'd love to come to that one. I'm going to come to this one. And his whole attitude's changed just because of he comes and he like, not he had a bad attitude, but because he's like, he's kind of a bit like, oh, I can't really be arsed sort of thing, which a lot of people will do because they've got busy lives and family and whatever. But now he's like, oh, if I can get there, I'm definitely getting there. And you can see that in the responses you get and stuff and things like that. It is that first initial jump where people have to get in there. And the easiest way to do it is when you speak to the lads and you go, I want to get this player in. You played with him here. Can you speak to him for me? And he'll go, yeah, all right, I'll ring him for you. And I'll tell him how good it is. Yeah. The same with MC Harvey, right? MC Harvey went to, bear in mind, he's only played 3 games for us, so he's still quite new into the team. But he loves it, right? And he went to Jamie O'Hara's engagement party the other week and he performed there. And they had Big G, is it? The one from SE Dons? The big goalkeeper guy. He's got like a few 100,000 followers on Instagram and that. And we've messaged him loads and he's never responded to us. We messaged him after Harvey went to this party. Yeah. And he said to me, here's my number, ring me.
Oh, nice.
And then I called him and he was like, spoke to Harv. Harv says it's brilliant. I'm in. Count me in. I'm definitely up for it. Blah, blah, blah. And again, he didn't respond for 6 months. And then suddenly, one person went there and said, it's brilliant, I want you involved. He goes, yeah, I'm into it now. And that's what it takes.
It really helps having someone you know tell you this, rather than just someone you don't know going, oh yeah, this is great, you will love this. I'm telling you that you'll love this, but you don't know it, compared to someone that you do know saying, oh, this will be great, you actually will love it. And then you go, oh, okay, actually, makes so much sense.
And it does work the other way as well. Like some people can say, you'll love it, and they come and they go, actually, do you know what, it's not for me. But at least they're honest with you, and at least then I can stop badgering them and be like, we've got a game this weekend, do you want to come play? Because I know if they've come, they've tried it, and it's not for them, it's never going to be for them because it don't change. The lads don't change. We'll still say the same. We're all there for the same reasons. We all found our purpose and that. And if your purpose isn't in this, then that's fair enough as well. That doesn't happen very often. When they come, they love it normally, and they go, oh, this is brilliant. I want to stick around. I want to do this. I want to carry on doing it. So it's good.
Oh, that's really nice. I mean, I think that's a really good way to end this podcast, actually. Again, guys, make sure you check out Inter Legends FC. I mean, the socials are everywhere. Thank you, Jack, again.
Pleasure, boys.
Looking forward to next week.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much.